And I'd like to welcome Mr. Siddharth Gandhi, COO APAC, 1Kosmos Technology Private Limited, and Mr. Hemen Vimdalal, CEO, 1Kosmos Technology Private Limited, to join us on stage.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Is bar? Okay, all right. I got your attention. Thank you for that. So thank you for having us over. So I have the privilege of having Hemen over here with me this time around. We've been in the markets for the last few years promoting digital identities and modern MFA. The kind of customers that we have has given Hemen a lot of confidence, and he's based out of the US to ensure that he's part of the platform over here today as part of the speaking panel. And also we have a little bit of an exciting news to share. Hemen is launching a cybersecurity fund, and I would like Hemen to talk a little bit more about it.
No, thank you, Sid, for having me here. Just breaking some ice, does anyone have an idea about the number of cybercrime losses that happened in 2023? Dollar value, $8 trillion. And it's T with a trillion. Does anyone have an idea of the number of losses we are expecting by 2025 in cybercrime? $10 trillion, right? So that's double the size of our economy globally in cybercrime. So it's a pretty big statement. Efforts like Data Security Council of India are super exciting because they, kind of address that problem head on. The third question for you guys is, what is the market cap for overall cybersecurity companies globally? Any takers? It's about $285 billion, right? So it's, I would say about less than 15% of the cybercrime that is happening globally, right? The last question, how much of that market cap is being run by Indian Americans globally? Any idea? 65% of the market cap of cybersecurity is being run by Indian Americans. So history-wise, myself, I've been in the cybersecurity journey for the last 20 years. I've helped and build companies such as Vayu, Simyo, Securonics, Savient, 1Kosmos. Sid is going to talk a lot about 1Kosmos. But more importantly, we've created 5,000 security jobs with $3.5 billion in market cap. So it's kind of an exciting time, for me, because of 20 years of kind of history and knowledge in the space. And because of that, what we've done is we've invested in many different companies over the last, 5 to 7 years as the cybersecurity space has kind of matured. It gave me the confidence that it is the right place, the right time to announce a new fund launch, which is the 830 crores fund launch, $100 million fund launch, based and focused on the Indian American corridor in partnership with Data Security Council of India. What we plan to do is we want to work with DSCI, we want to work with the Indian government to fund a lot of the new age startups and companies that are growing out of India, that are growing in America, help them with talent pool and research pools of resources, tying up with different universities, and allow for innovation to occur. The last about 2 years, about 14 acquisitions in cybersecurity have happened. 13 of those acquisitions have been all of Israeli companies. So a very good kind of setup between the Israeli-American corridor has happened. We want to be able to change that. We've got 10 times more research talent. We've got 10 times more talent in general than that corridor. And we know that we are in a place where there's a lot of digital disruption that is happening in the country as well. So we are the first ones to launch this fund to help innovate kind of the ecosystem not just the financial services, but all critical infrastructure as well, all different verticals, and build a lot of different startups like we have built over the last 20 years. I've got Nand Kumar Sarvade, sir. If you guys can please, he does not need no introduction, but if he can just please come on stage. Yeah. Nand Kumar Sarvade, sir, I met with him a few years back. It was love at first sight because of the things that I spoke to him and the way he told me about his stories. And since then, he's really been mentoring me in general about his knowledge in the space, his knowledge in deep-rooted ecosystem out here. And so today I join with him in launching this fund. He's going to be advising this fund, helping us choose which areas to invest in, helping us choose which companies to invest in, and he's going to be a part of this journey with us in not just 1Kosmos, but also in Sprout and Oak Ventures, which is the name of the fund itself. So, sir, if you want to just talk a little bit about the space we are in right now, the cybersecurity market in general, the potential of innovation, if you can just help us level set a few words on that.
Sure. So wonderful, to be here when the fund is getting launched. I remember in 2016 when I spent some time with GSC as the CEO, the cybersecurity industry in India was the plan which was getting built. And that year I remember the very important statistic which came was the Israeli companies had doubled their export revenue in cybersecurity from $3 to $6 billion. And that was the kind of aspiration which was possible to see. Now, of course, things are moved way ahead of that. But what I see is, I think there's a lot of entrepreneurial energy in the country. There's a lot of gaps where these solutions are required. The kind of price points India needs and Indian companies want, they have to be met here only. They're not going to come from outside. And we have to also tap the global market. So I think this whole idea of an Indo-US corridor is a wonderful one. I think what entrepreneurs should be looking at is not only funding, which is I think important, but also mentoring by industry veterans who know what they're looking for and what the company should be building, how they should build, the agility, the innovation, the user experience, and the whole use case, tapping into the use cases, because I think entrepreneurs have some technical skills to offer, but what kind of products are required, what is the gap they should fill, is what is missing. So I think I see this supply and demand coming together, and mentoring, understanding of the market, use cases, and the growth path. I think these are some of the very key parameters I see happening. So wonderful to be here. And
no, absolutely. And I think, so you hit on a great point. And that leads me to one last discussion point around this fund. This fund is going to be industry leader-driven fund. A lot of you guys, are cybersecurity leads at your organizations. We have partnered with some of the brightest minds to not only just invest in the fund, you all are open to invest in the fund yourselves. I'll give you an example. One of the funds called CyberStarts was an Israeli-based fund. They raised $65 million in 2015 from leaders like yourself in Israel. They returned back the investors $1.6 billion in 5 years. So those kind of returns are unheard of. So you are welcome to invest in this fund. But the biggest thing is your participation as industry leaders to work with us and cybersecurity companies to drive those use cases that actually make an impact in your organization and add business value to your organization, which are repeatable, scalable, and high-performing outcomes. I think that is the crux of this fund. The fund is going to be driven by industry leaders, cyber experts like yourselves. So I'm super excited to be here, of course, with Nand Kumar sir here, who's going to be advising us, but all of you guys who can, be a part of this journey that we are embarking upon. It is a legacy. It's not just one fund. Fund 1 is $100 million, Fund 2 is 250, Fund 3 is 450, Fund 4 is 750 growth equity fund, and Fund 5 is $1.5 billion of private equity fund, which is a 5-year journey to 10-year journey. So please join us in helping us drive more innovation and better the ecosystem. And one such company that we've invested in personally myself for a long time, I'm the CEO of, is 1Kosmos, and Sid is really going to be talking about 1Kosmos today. So
thank you,
Sid.
Nand Kumar sir. unleashing your digital business and knowing truly who's behind the device, right? So what I do want to talk about, usually I refrain from talking about product, but more about broader concepts. But I believe we are at a cusp where there's significant change coming, right? And I think one of them is happening in India as we speak, with digital transformation right at the heart of it. Over the last few years that we've been part of the market, we witnessed significant changes in the way customers are speaking, talking about digital, specifically around digital identities. RBI came out with a guideline and hopefully likely convert into a requirement soon for the BFSI sector is around principle-based framework for authentication. Right, so what is largely RBI saying is that, guys, we have never ever told you that you have to stick to SMS-based OTP for authentication, right? But it's among the most popular one. They are now telling the banks to invest in technology like never before, and they are also telling the banks that you now need to start looking at beyond SMS-based OTP for authentication. 1Kosmos has been at the forefront in terms of industry thought leadership, in terms of the way we manage it. And today, I'm very proud to say that we have significant amount of customer base already in India. And in the next few months' time, we're likely to have the top 3 of the top 6 private sector banks in India. Right, so additional factors of authentication, I want to stress a little bit around it, and I'm going to see if I'm able to, yeah, I can do that. So where we really are sitting is really on only the initial 2 steps of what we know and what we have, right? What does additional factors of authentication really mean? This is our interpretation of what RBI came out with, right? So if you see, the journey that we really need to traverse is going from these 2 to really going all around to the highest or the strongest form of authentication, right? As per NIST standard, you call it AAL1 or Authentication Assurance Level 1 to the highest level of assurance, which is AL2 or AL3. How do we reach there? Well, what we call is biometric-based authentication. We've seen over the last few years, especially during the remote work environment, a lot of regulators, including SEBI, RBI, etc., came out and have been talking about biometric-based authentication. So we are today the leaders in the space where we primarily use passwordless authentication as an option for all our customers, and we are able to actually help you with the journey right from this to all the way, providing all the additional factors as a ready platform. So you could start off with the basic, but without really changing the environment, we can have the existing platform, existing infrastructure really scale up to provide you the best. Last but not the least, we are also backed by a blockchain-based platform. And that is the biggest differentiator in terms of our architecture or from a security standpoint, right? And third is from a privacy standpoint, with DPDPA coming in, we are compliant with GDPR, we are compliant with DPDPA. We don't store any data or information at our end. 2 case studies that I want to present to ensure that how we've helped our customers in this part of the world. One is an Indian bank, one is a Philippines bank, a private sector bank. Can't name the Indian bank for the reasons of non-disclosure, but we really helped them with initiating their passwordless journey, both for the employees and also for the customer. We started with replacing the legacy 2FA, and through the 4-year journey today, we've actually gone from a 20% customer base to almost now today 80,000 employees using our tool. And every year from a customer side, we've been able to secure almost in excess of 100 million authentications per year for the bank. Union Digital is a digital-only bank in the Philippines. It's a subsidiary of Union Bank. The way it works is that it's a digital-only bank, no branches, which means you need to onboard customers, you need to authenticate customers only with the app. So we are helping them with their KYC, with digital onboarding of customers, authenticating and transferring money using biometrics. So the way you would transfer money if you were in Philippines today and a customer of Union Digital is by showing your face, your live ID, blinking, smiling, and then transferring the money. So you're actually proving who you are with a smile and transferring money instead of waiting for an OTP to come to you. Last but not the least, as additional form of authentication, something very new to the market, all of you guys, I'm sure, have heard of hardware biometric tokens, FIDO tokens. But this is a token with a difference. This 1Kosmos biometric key is basically a shared key. A lot of banks that we've been talking to or part of the BFSI sector have contact centers. For obvious reasons, you have financial data, you have credit card data, and employees are not allowed mobile phones. So typically then how would you authenticate passwordless? So this is a solution that we bought in, where today typically FIDO tokens are given 1 key per user. But in this case, it's 1 key per workstation. So in a contact center or call center, it's usually a shared workstation. Yeah, which means in this case, if it's 1 key per workstation, you don't need to really hand it over to each individual. It stays on the workstation. The employee comes in, gives his fingerprint, and gets logged in passwordless into the workstation or the application. So it's a very, very unique solution inspired by FIDO, and that is how we authenticate. In interest of time, it's showing me in big red over here, it's time up, but we actually do have a video, but due to lack of time, I won't play it, but we are at booth number 9 outside. We can show you a live demo of passwordless and how the shared key works. So please visit our booth at 1Kosmos. Thank you for your time today, I appreciate it.